16s. Gabriel the Great 20s, 25 to 1 and bigger the rest. Sit back, enjoy the Cambridgeshire. Let's rejoin Lydia at Newmarket.
So Educate is the favourite at 9 to 1. We said we'd talk to Johnny Murtagh about his tactics on the second in the Cheveley Park, which you did.
Oh yeah, no, it was not anything to do with the ground. It just thinks the filly likes to go that way, and thought he'd let her do that and gives her a little bit of space. So it was nothing to do with that. And we did say that the ground is definitely riding on the quick side.
Anyway, he is drawn towards the far side, low in 4. There seems to be plenty of pace collected low.
Well, there is. The obvious pace, most of the obvious pace is that side. Arsadi, it's drawn 11. It's like about the 9 Realms, drawn 6. Forgive, drawn 10. Bruno Regatta was a bit middle in the middle of the pack, 14, but slightly nearer the low side. You've got Area 51 among the high numbers, and probably one or two other, but there is certainly a fair amount of pace in the low numbers.
So Educate has been put at £4 for that placing in the Group 2 celebration mile, and is now back into handicap company and back into probably the fiercest handicap company he's seen all season.
Yeah, I think that's a negative for him, is that he's gone up in the weights. He was very unlucky 2 runs ago, in the last time he was in a handicap at Haydock, very unlucky. And the big field and the anticipated strong pace, I think, is exactly what he wants, and we know he's effective in these sort of races because he won the Silver Cup earlier or the Silver Lincoln, whatever the race is called, earlier in the year. So this is fine, conditions are fine, and he remains in very good form.
Second favourite is Code of Honour, who has been backed, and both you and I felt that he could well be ideal, find 9 furlongs ideal, in that he's won over 10 furlongs, he's been effective in competitive handicaps over 10 furlongs, but just wonder whether 9 might be absolutely spot on.
Definitely the impression I got. He won over 10 furlongs, I think it was at Sandown, and it wasn't the strongest run race, and he showed a bit of a turn of foot that day. And certainly at Goodwood, it looked to me like it was maybe his maximum, 1.25 miles. He's quite lightly raced, he's got a nice cruising speed, he's gradually progressive, and he looks the right type for this race if we are right about the 9 furlongs.
And there's Queensberry Rules, who, after running extremely well when third in the Britannia, was dropped to 7 furlongs, ran no sort of race. He's now back up to 9, having run quite well at a mile in between. Yeah,
I don't, for whatever reason, I don't think it was the 7, but he did run poorly that day. But either way, last time at York, he wasn't a million miles behind his Ascot form. He's tongue-tied for the first time here. He's got good form in big field handicaps. He's slightly warm.
He's sweating. I can't remember him doing that before. It is quite hot.
Oh yeah, it is quite hot, and he's not a wash, but just point it out. But certainly, he's got form in big field handicaps, and York suggested he was back into some sort of form.
And then we have King George River, who also has been backed, and he finished second to Intello in the Fielden over this course and distance at the start of the season, and you'd have been encouraged for the step back up to 9 furlongs with his run behind Short Squeeze last time. Yeah,
we was keeping on nicely, and he's well handicapped on the pick of his form. My slight niggle is that he's very, very best form is maybe on good ground or with a little bit of giving away. Just wonder if the ground has got against him, but a handicap point of view, definitely make a case for.
Seek Again has shortened as well, 14 to 1. This is a lightly raced horse trained by John Gosden, who's shown improved form in his last 2 starts, stepping up by another furlong, and on pedigree that should really suit.
We didn't talk about this horse earlier, but I mean, it's totally matched with Graphic, isn't it, on form in the London Mile. I do think the 9 furlong will be perfect. I think a leak a bit more improvement out of him, and he is lightly raced, and the trainer's got a great record in this race.
Jack's Revenge is interesting. He seems to have improved again in 2013. He's a very consistent performer, and John Baker's taken the trouble of booking a Sheen Murphy.
Well, that must make a difference because he's been running really well in good handicaps recently at Goodwood, Glorious Goodwood, the Shergar Cup, Goodwood again, all good runs, suggesting he's competitive of this mark, but he needs a little bit of help, and he's being helped with £5 from the man of the moment.
I really like Strictly Silver as a horse, but I must admit I'm a little bit surprised to see him quite so prominent in the betting.
Well, he's £5 higher than his last winning mark. He ran respectably of his new mark last time out. It's just a question whether you think he's got any edge on the handicap. I've got my doubts.
Bronze Angel won this race last year, beat Mull of Clough by about 3/4 of a length, and also ran pretty creditably in the Darley Stakes. We haven't seen him for 350 days.
No, as Ollie was pointing out earlier, he has got a very good record fresh. I find it hard to believe it was the intention not to have him, to make his reappearance here, but he has got...
That's been a setback.
Exactly, but it may be less of a concern with a horse who can come back after 2 or 3 months off, and certainly won pretty good style last year, and he's only £6 higher.
I could see Thair being placed.
Yeah, he's running well. He ran well last time out, didn't get beat too far. He's ahead of Proud Chieftain, that was at Doncaster. I thought they for the better race, but for what it's worth, I thought he and Seek Again were the two that I took my eye as looking particularly well in the paddock.
I think Red Avenger should really like this 9 furlong trip as well, and he's longer than Code of Honour, and on the Goodwood run he's got a bit better chance than Code of Honour.
It's the same case, same argument, isn't it, in terms of good form at 10 furlong, but gives the impression might be better for this. Ideal run style, or what you imagine would be the ideal run style, he tends to chase the leaders not too far away, and it probably would be hard to make too much ground up in this race. We'll see, it depends on the pace, but he's the right type for the race, you'd imagine.
Like Gabriel the Great, jetting a little bit het up in the stalls. Code of Honour really has been backed 11s from 16s. Educate 8 to 1. Queensbury Rules 12 to 1, 14 to 1 and upwards the rest. Just time to throw another couple in that might run well. I think Tres Coronas is going to outrun his price. I think Fury is going to represent William Haggas very strongly.
I'll go Forgive again. I think it's quite well handicapped, and I think that we have mentioned Graphic. Graphic's clearly got a chance on that form at Kempton.
Not many more to go forward then for this Betfred Cambridgeshire. Sit back and enjoy.
Then for this Betfred Cambridgeshire, Bronze Angel moving in. Boonga Regetta, the blindfold of Sam Sharp, who will be moving into stall number 9. Could well be the final one here. In fact, there are a couple more that were loitering out the back, and they include Thaia, Tres Coronas and Educate. So there are still 4 to go forward. Educate, the market leader, one of the 4 runners yet to go forward. Sam Sharp receiving a shove to go in. Tres Coronas, Thaia and Educate, the last trio. Thaia just requiring circling about before going into stall 2. Educate into 4. So this little phalanx of stalls on the far side, the ones that are requiring filling, and Thaia is proving difficult, backing away from the stalls. Blindfold has been reached for. Educate moves in. Thaia into stall 2, could well be the last. Thaia with the blindfold on, heading in. And Tres Coronas is in fact the last one into stall number 3. And then we're all set for the Betfred Cambridgeshire. 9 furlongs the trip. Blinds are whipped off, and they're off and racing. Gabriel the Great wasn't the best away, as the field break away then for the Cambridgeshire. Over on the far side, amongst those showing up early, Macret is prominent. Also Educate not that far away over on the far side as they race through the first furlong. 9 Realms is handy in that far side group, in company as well with Jack's Revenge. They're being tracked through at this stage by Forgive. Queensbury Rules is in the far side group early on with Gabriel the Great, Tres Coronas, and also over on the far side as they make their way through the first couple of furlongs at the rear of that group, Sam Sharp and also Field of Dreams. So that's the far side group. Meanwhile, down the centre of the racecourse, we've only got a couple of runners there. Sardi and Boonga Regetta are rather isolated. Meanwhile, on the stand side, the field there are headed by the Rectifier, who's up there early, in company as well with Graphic, who's racing quite handily. Fury tracks the leaders there with Robert the Painter, Prince of Johanna. On the rails is Area 51 with Red Avenger. Seek Again is towards the rear of that group, and also towards the centre of that group races at this stage Captain Bertie. So they're well on their way down now inside the final 3 furlongs. The Rectifier and Fury over on the near side continue to show at the head of that group. In the centre, Boonga Regetta. Meanwhile, over on the far side, boxing on, Jack's Revenge has moved through to be one of those that is prominent over there. Educate is also coming with a run as they make their way now down inside the final furlong or so. And under the near side rail, Graphic is the horse that is out in front there. Meanwhile, down the centre of the racecourse, Educate is hanging. Over on the far side, Tres Coronas is coming home strongly as well. Code of Honour is another to be picking up. In the centre, Educate, far side, Tres Coronas. These two fighting out the finish with Code of Honour coming fast and late. Code of Honour dives with Educate. Goes to the judge. Code of Honour near side got close to Educate. Tres Coronas, Graphic was next across the line in 4th place, and they were ahead of the others.
Photo finish.
It's desperately close for the 2013 Cambridgeshire. Near side, number 28, Code of Honour. Far side, blue colours, number 3, Educate. In 3rd, tight for third as well, actually, with Tres Coronas and Graphic, who ran well from the front under Frankie Dettori. Dave Yates tipped up Educate on Marty Card, made it a 2-star selection, was very well supported, and lots of people will have Educate on their ticket. Code of Honour was also very well backed, and the two market leaders have fought out the finish in a desperately close finish to the 2013 Cambridgeshire. If Educate has lost, and if Code of Honour has managed to just nick it on the line, I think supporters of Educate can count themselves a little bit unlucky, because he was a little bit tricky inside the final furlong, just wandering over parts of the Rowley Mile. But it's a close finish, and we will, I assure you, give you the result as soon as it comes through to us here on Racing UK. We are across it, and we're keeping our ears out for the announcement from the judge at HQ. Emerald Green Feeds Novices Hurdle coming up next for us, though. Live racing coming thick and fast. And this race over 2 miles, 1 furlong. Spirit of Shankly is the 4-5 market leader. From Oyster Shell at 9-2, Odin 5-1, Benefit Cut 6-1. Educate has won the 2013 Cambridgeshire. Educate your winner. It's just been confirmed at Newmarket. The 8-1 market leader, Dave Yates' selection, has just got the better of Code of Honour. And we will tie up the full result, including who has finished 6th, because Sky Bet, as Michael Shinners mentioned earlier today, paid 6 places on this year's Cambridgeshire. So we'll give you a full rundown of events at Newmarket very soon. But first, let's rejoin them at Market Raisin ahead of the next live race for us. Spirit of Shankly, your 5-6 market leader.
More from that to follow from Mike, but meanwhile the runners are coming out onto the racetrack. And they're walking in towards the starting tape. Set to go. They're off. Benefit Cut is first to begin as they travel down towards the first of 8 flights of hurdles. It's Benefit Cut showing the way by about 1.5 lengths to Oyster Shell in company with Volcanic Jack racing 2nd and 3rd, and then Odin towards the inside in 4th position. That little group followed over by Spirit of Shankly, who's sitting back in the field with Hardwick Bay. Also well back is Story Hill, and also towards the back Dubai